Hey everybody, when I was working as the economic advisor to Oakland Mayor Leo Harris, and I would represent the mayor on the Community and Economic Development Agency committee meetings in the morning, Ignacio de la Fuente, who was president of the city council, also sat on that committee. He had a saying that he would deliver to a constituent if things didn't go quite the constituent's way, or to show concern for the constituent when the constituent was having a problem, or to show the city really went to bat for the constituent. Regardless of the situation or the types that I described, those three words are always the same. Welcome to Oakland. So it's with Ignacio in mind that I say to you, welcome to Oakland for these reasons. You are taking office for the first time or re-entering office at a time when Oakland has never been in this bad a condition that it's in. And yes, the rest of the United States and the rest of the world are suffering because of the pandemic, and also how the governments have responded to the pandemic. In Oakland's specific case, 2020 was a year where Oakland's government did not respond to the needs of its constituents in a timely fashion. And so now you are the first set of council members to take office after a disaster has occurred, but while it was going on and you were running for office, that's never happened before. The earthquake of 1989 was an odd year. Next election wasn't until the previous year. And let's face it, Oakland were the outcome, in retrospect, quite well, particularly compared to today and what we're dealing with the pandemic. The 1991 Oakland Hills fire, same story. It's an odd year. 91 was a fire in a part of Oakland where the residents there had been blessed. They had it easy. They seldom had to deal with Oakland's government. Then they found out about the permitting processes and all the other bureaucratic issues and problems. And some, like Bob Klein, who was the founder and owner of Oliveto Market Hall, wanted to break off from Oakland and create a town called Tuscany. I kid you not. He didn't do that. And Oakland's government responded well under pressure. It was one of our finest moments. It was one of our finest moments because in disasters, Oakland has always pulled together. And I don't mean pulled together for sacrifice. I mean pulled together to figure out ways to gain revenue to solve our problems. This is the same position you're in, except that rather than find new revenue sources or put pressure where it's needed the most, the federal government, downsizing is occurring. And many council members are still pointing fingers at others and dividing. We're not going to reach the point of improvement in this pandemic if we continue that kind of activity. So I am giving each one of you a request. Please leave your personal politics at home. The residents of Oakland are begging of you to make a difference. And the only way that you can do that is not to have faction-developed policy, a policy that doesn't immediately help people. You have to be 8 as one. Because if you don't achieve that, given the way things are going, I shudder to consider what will come next. For example, just as you're being sworn in on Monday, across the bay, there is a protest held by some very iconic business owners because they're not getting money they need to maintain their businesses as the state of California is telling them to have their businesses closed. Federal, state, and local governments have racked up an enormous bill that it has to pay the citizens for suffering during the pandemic. That also goes for Oakland. So the job is for you to find money to, as I've suggested to the mayor and council members, both current and those who are gone now, to use Jim Beal's son of redevelopment, as they called it, SB 628, which was signed into law in 2015 by then Governor Jerry Brown, to establish new tax increment financing zones to build affordable and extremely affordable housing, but also to tweak the legislation so that services can be paid for. We need creative thinking, and we don't need a bureaucracy that says no or says to us that can't be done. We need creative thinking to get us out of this mess, and we need the will to get it done. So with that, I say this. Welcome to Oakland.